Welcome back, everyone, to The Sweat. And, of course, it's great to talk baseball and basketball and hockey and golf and all that, but we get to do that every day. We are running out of time to talk about the NFL Draft Thursday, round one, and there's been so much buildup, so much hype, and it doesn't stop here. Julian Edlow, DK contributor, I'm Adam Kaufman, and Jules, let's get into it here. Your top 10, let's look at it, okay? We've got a very interesting. We're going to ask you, obviously, a series of questions about why your analysis for your mock is what it is as compared to all the other mocks that are out there in the world. You have quarterbacks going with the top three. I think most people do. In fact, a lot of people say Trevor Lawrence, Zach Wilson, and then the draft starts at number 3. You've got Trey Lance going to the Niners after that big swap for San Fran. Why him and not Mac Jones?
Yeah, I mean, honestly, I was ready to, over the weekend, thinking about piecing this together, I was ready to go Justin Fields. I think he's the best quarterback remaining at that point. I think Fields is worth a look for the Jets at 2, but that's not going to happen. We know it's going to be Wilson. So I try not to use my dumb brain and just use the information that's given to me to best represent what's going to happen. So it sounds like if you trust a guy like Ian Rappaport, and I do, Fields is off the draft board for the Niners at 3. So that leaves Jones and Lance. And Jones is the favorite on DK Sportsbook and has been for most of the time since those initial reports came out. So it obviously could be him. My head, if I'm going to use my analysis a little bit, says that I'm a little worried about Mac Jones. He's obviously an NFL quarterback, but he plays behind an Alabama offensive line that half of them go to the NFL in the first round. We're talking about Devonta Smith, Jalen Waddle, who are not pictured in my top 10, but are going to be right there. I'd say at 11 and 12 in terms of wide receivers going. I just think if we listen to what the Niners are saying, they moved up to 3. They say they want to keep Jimmy Garoppolo and start him this year and take on something for the future. Mac Jones seems like more of a now. Trey Lance seems like the project that, okay, let's start Jimmy G for a year, develop a guy like Trey Lance who can really use that, and then we'll turn to him. So based off what the 49ers are doing, my best guess is that they want to take on a high upside project like Trey Lance at number 3.
Quarterbacks 1 through 3, it's an expectation, obviously not only for you, but really for everybody. But for a while, some were debating, will it be quarterbacks 1 through 4? Looking at your mock for Atlanta, you've got Kyle Pitts, a receiver, going in that 4th slot. You don't see the Falcons looking for either Matt Ryan's replacement or even, and it's hard to speculate, obviously, with a mock, but maybe even making a trade out and someone else comes in and drafts a quarterback there?
So the trades, like I wrote in my mock draft, and the article will come out, I think, today on DK Playbook, but I expect to see a lot of trades in the top 10 because it feels like there's a lot of spots that a team might not necessarily get what they want, and it makes sense to just get better value somewhere else. Or other teams moving up, obviously, to 4. There's going to be whoever it is, a 4th quarterback left here that teams are going to be really interested in. And Atlanta has been a bad team in recent seasons, so they could use the pieces. So yes, I could definitely see a trade here. I could also see, if I'm the Falcons and Fields is here at 4, I'm very interested in taking a look at Fields to replace Matt Ryan. I'm also interested in defense. Falcons always put up points. They need somebody on defense, but there's not that type of talent that's really worth it at number 4, I don't think, in this draft. So by default, I'm kind of going Kyle Pitts here, who I really like and think is a game-changing tight end. Like all the hype that we're getting on him, Kuiper's highest graded tight end in 2 million years of covering the NFL draft. Like, I think all that's true. He's legit. I watched a lot of Florida last year. And I think he would fit well with Atlanta. Then you buy into these other rumors that maybe Julio Jones is eventually going to be on the move. And if he is, Kyle Pitts gives this team another kind of generational pass catcher, not only to help Matt Ryan this year, but then you have that piece to kind of go with the next quarterback in maybe it's next year's draft, and you have a Pitts mystery quarterback type of tandem that you go to in the future in Atlanta. So Pitts is the best non-quarterback to me in this draft, so I have him going 4.
And I think I called him a receiver before. So my apologies to Mr. Pitts.
He's a fantastic, he's probably the best receiver in this class. He just also happens to play tight end.
Yeah, great pass catcher. We'll just start to identify guys that way. Dynamic pass catcher, Kyle Pitts. You have Justin Fields off your board at number 6. So I don't know if you would call that slipping or not. Some, I think, have Fields slipping even into the teens, so I guess not. You look at him at number 6. Now, obviously, Miami on the board there. You don't think the Dolphins will be the one ultimately taking him, though. The pick will be traded. So what's your thinking here?
Yeah, I said I think there's going to be a lot of swaps in the top 10. So this is kind of one way of like just representing that. I think if Fields does make it out of the top 5, I think somebody's going to be interested, even if it's Denver coming down from like 9 to 6, or a team like the Patriots coming in from 15, or somebody else. Carolina sneakily remains involved in the quarterback market, even though they traded for Darnold. I don't think it'll be them, but like there's teams that can come up and get Fields. And once he's out of the top 5, I think it could happen. Now, it could also happen at 7 with Detroit. Like, I have Jamar Chase going 5th. I have the Bengals taking Joe Burrow's college teammate and kind of buying into the hype there. But Burrow's going off a serious knee injury. If I'm being smart, I probably want an O-lineman there to protect Burrow. So if that happens, now things maybe mix up. Like, it's going to be pretty wild. You have a guy like Peter King reporting that because of the Niners trade, it kind of skewed the market to trade within the top 10. And that means there'll be less picks up top because the steep price they paid. But just looking at the board, I feel like teams are going to move around. So maybe it's at 6, maybe it's at 7, whatever. I think somebody's going to, I think the team that lands Justin Fields will be trading up to get him.
Let's go quick with these last couple here. You've got the Lions strengthening their O-line at number 7. And interesting that obviously there are new reports they're open Detroit, maybe even trading the pick. What happens here?
Penny Sewell is the best O-lineman in this draft. So if he's there, I think he goes somewhere in that 5 to 7 range. You just got a new guy in Jared Goff. You want to protect him. You also let go of Kenny Golladay and desperately need a receiver. So I could see this being Jalen Waddle, Devonta Smith going up there at 7. But Detroit needs so many things. Yeah, preferably a trade. But this is the best player on the board at number 7 in my mock.
So you got 4 of the projected 5 quarterbacks going in the first round, going in the top 10. You don't have Mac Jones, who again has still been linked to the Niners at number 3. You don't see it happening. So you have him out of the top 10, maybe sliding a little bit. Does that mean Patriots at 15? Where do you think he's going to go?
I have no idea. He's probably going to go 3 to the Niners, and I'm going to look like an idiot. Like, this is how this works. This is where some of the personal spin on a mock draft comes in. Like, I think that there's a good chance that Mac Jones, the numbers he put up is a product of playing with extremely, extremely good players every year at Alabama. And I think that maybe will reflect in his draft stock a little bit, or he could go 3 or 4. I have no idea.